Do you ever feel like you're doing all the farm work? You're fixing fences, you're hauling feed, you're feeding animals, but somehow the numbers just don't seem to work. It's almost like you're farming around your job, around your kids' schedules, and everything else, and just wondering, is this actually going anywhere? Yeah, I've been there too, trust me. And once I started treating our farm like a farm business, even though we're part-time, that's when things finally started to click. Hey guys, I'm Jason, the part-time farmer, Long Bottom Farm, and this is part one of a three-part series that I'm calling Growing Your Farm Without Burning Out. If you're farming part-time or thinking about it, this series is for you. Over the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about treating your farm like a farm business, selling without farmers markets, and then stacking your income so the whole thing actually works long-term. Today, we're going to start with what worked for us in our farm, and that's shifting from a project mindset to a business mindset. Let's get into it. Real quick, we have a newsletter, the Sunday Solopreneur. This comes out every Sunday about 10 a.m. I talk about how to market your products on your farm, how to use social media and websites to grow your farm. I also talk about farming, raising cattle, chickens, pigs. We go through it all, and it's about building your farm business. Sign up now, and you also get a free PDF on how to use ChatGPT to write your social media, to write your newsletters, and to help write product descriptions for your products. This is free download for signing up for the newsletter. One newsletter every 1 to 2 weeks, no spam, I promise. Check it out. I think you'll get a lot of value in learning to grow your farm or homestead, and it's free. All right, back to the video. So let's be real for a second. Most farmers, at least that I know, are not full-time farmers, and they're not supposed to be. I know folks that run big livestock operations, cattle, pigs, sheep, but then they also use their equipment to do landscaping, paving driveways, clearing snow, and other ways to earn extra income for their family. I know another farm that has a huge, and you've probably seen a few on here, they have huge YouTube channels. And with huge channels tend to come, obviously monetization, but also sponsorships and just the reach and advertisement those farms get. I know some farms that actually buy wholesale from other farms. They raise meats, but then they buy veggies, they buy honeys, they buy milk, and then they sell those, they buy them wholesale and then sell them at a profit in addition to what they're selling to have a rounded out offer for their farm. I even know some farmers that have cabins on their farm that they rent out as Airbnbs and their farm stay experiences. And I know plenty of you are working full-time jobs, nursing, teaching, construction, and you're still raising animals, selling at markets, and growing food on the side. That's not failure, that's just what works. And that works for most farms. I want to share with you guys a little story, something I've never shared on the channel. And that's that for farming, for me, part of the reason I took this route is because I have pretty significant social anxiety. Now, I'm not antisocial, I'm not hiding in the woods, I'm not a recluse, but a lot of social situations just wear me out. It's actually easier for me to talk to a camera, even though I'm talking to a bunch of people, than it is to actually be in a room with a bunch of people talking. And looking back, I think that's part of what led me sort of to do what I do today. I've set up a lifestyle as the part-time farmer because part-time farming allowed me to spend more time at home, be with my family, and just to create a life that I'm comfortable with that works for me. We're raising animals. I build websites on the side. Check out a link below for homegrown hosting if you're interested in one of those. I work one 24-hour shift a week as a physician assistant. And I'll admit, this isn't flashy, but it's given me and my family a lifestyle that we love. It's given me time with my family, and I get to do work that I enjoy and have a farm that I'm proud of. The reason I'm sharing this with you is you may have your own reasons for going into farming. It may not be necessarily just to make a bunch of money and quit your day job. Part of the whole part-time farmer thing is lifestyle, setting up a lifestyle that works for you as well, because to me, that's more important than making money. As a PA, I could go to work 6-7 days a week and work like crazy and make a lot of money, but again, that wouldn't be the lifestyle I want. I wouldn't see my family. I wouldn't get to spend time outside. Again, I share this because I want you to think about your reasons for starting a farm and not just money. But how can a farm help give you the lifestyle, whether you have social anxiety, whether you just want to homestead and be home more with your family? Think about that. That's what the part-time farmer idea came out of. Not just making it work financially, but making it work for my actual life. So once you figure that out, why you want to be part-time farm, why you want to farm, then we need to talk about the mindset. So here's the thing. If you're just raising tomatoes or growing chickens for fun, that's awesome. That's a great way to live. But if you're selling eggs, meat, CSAs, veggies, honey, then you're already kind of running a business whether you think of it or not like that. And the earlier you start treating it one, even just a little, the easier it is to stop feeling like you're just treading water and actually make some headway in where you want to go, not just with your business, but your lifestyle. You might see one of our newest additions to the farm right behind me. This is my mother-in-law's horse. So hanging out, just you see movement behind me. So when we started our farm, we spent way too much money just guessing and not actually tracking anything. we'd raise pigs or chickens, we'd sell the meat, and then we'd feel really good about moving inventory, about actually making sales. But when we really looked at the numbers, we weren't actually doing as good as we thought we were doing. Feed costs, gas, labor, all these things add up. But once we stopped guessing and actually started tracking the things that we were doing, the money that was coming in addition to all of the expenses that were going out, we stopped guessing and started growing at this point. And I'm not talking about big fancy spreadsheets or anything like that. I did use a spreadsheet, but you don't even have to do that. We initially started with, we had a folder and that was set by the door, and we had one in the truck. And then my wallet was the other folder because that's where a lot of the receipts would go. All the receipts from that folder, that truck, either they would go in there and then I would consolidate them all, or from my wallet, I would consolidate them all. Anyways, they consolidated at my work desk. That's how we tracked cost. And then it's just a matter of entering them in and seeing how much you're actually spending. You know, it's amazing when you don't count things like gas and electricity, things that you don't really see, but yet are costing you money to do the operations that you're doing. That simple awareness just changed our entire way of farming. We had a better perspective of not only what's coming in and what's going out, but what was also working and what's not. Is this more profitable than that? Is there a way, actually, I'm seeing this cost here and here. Is there a way we can combine those two costs? So it really gives you a aerial view of your farm, of what you're spending and what you're bringing in, to see if you're actually making a profit. And that's important because, again, when we go back to the lifestyle that we talked about, you got to make a profit in order to get where you want to go. I'm not saying make a whole lot of money and we're not trying to build some big empire, but you do need money to just pay the basic things: electricity, your mortgage payment, land, vehicles, and this will really help you with that. And I've got a big tip for you, and that's set up a dedicated farm account. Now, for us, that was a bank account. For you, it could be just a separate account. It could be, if you're just using cash, a box where money goes in and money goes out of that. You need to keep your farm spending, income and outgoing, separate from your personal expenditures. You could even consider getting a credit card. I don't generally recommend taking on credit and definitely not spending money that you don't have, but we use one for our farm. I use it to essentially pay for everything that I can. One, because it keeps everything in one place and I can easily log into my account and see just general categories, but it helps a lot to see how much is on that card, how much I'm paying on that card versus how much money is in my actual farm account. And then you can even use that. A lot of cards will give you rewards if you pay the balance off every month. Again, do not take on one to pay for things you don't have. That is not what I'm recommending here. I am just saying you need to find a way to keep your farm expenses separate from your personal expenses so that you really know what you're spending on your farm. The real goal here is not spending money that you don't have, it's clarity. And as a little bonus, if you're watching this part, if you do get a bank account, they're likely going to ask you for a business plan. Don't get super scared of that. I know it can sound like,
Oh God, I gotta have a business plan.
I have created a 2-page business plan down below. It's essentially a number of questions. You just answer the questions. And if you were to go to a bank and set up a business account for your farm, these are likely the questions they're going to want to ask you. So by having this filled out, you'll already be way ahead of the game in getting an account. And that's generally the recommended way I go. That way you have your money separate, you are not spending money that you don't have, and you have a good visualization of what's coming out of that account versus what's going into that account. There's a link down below to a 2-page PDF, check it out. So one of the key things that I want to convey to you is that your business doesn't need to be burnout, doesn't need to lead to burnout. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there's not going to be work that's going to be done and long days, and I mean, it's a farm, and like any business, really, there's going to be good sides to it and bad sides to it. But treating your farm like a business doesn't necessarily mean you have to do a ton more work. It's sort of taking some of the stuff you might already be doing, maybe adding a little bit to it. But again, this could save you a ton of labor down the road because you realize this isn't working, or just looking at your numbers, this equipment will work for this, therefore I don't have to buy the second equipment. It's just a way to get clarity. That's what we're going for, is clarity. It means fewer surprises, and it means building systems that in the long run are going to make your life easier. You know, some of the things that through a farm that I've learned that have really saved us time and made us more money is that just having a website doesn't mean people are going to come. You got to actually market it. And that's something that I learned. And once I learned that, a lot more money started coming in. But then you also learn that the marketing is not a whole lot. It could be a blog post a week, every 2 weeks. It could be a couple social media posts. That's another thing actually I learned when we started our farm. We were doing a ton of social media. I might have 700 people on my farm account, and it'll tell me at the bottom that 39 people saw it. That's not a return on your time to create that post or do anything. And we learned that email is the way to go, because when you can get people signing up for emails, they're interested in you. They want to hear your story, and every one of those customers gets an email. And we're going to get into more of this in the second video, but even if they don't open that email, they may just, they see it and they hit delete. Point is, you still just reminded them you exist, even if they're not ready to buy right now. I did a blog post a while back about Donald Miller's book, Story Brand, and this was incredible. And one of the things he teaches in there is that a lot of your customers aren't going to be ready to buy right now yet. And that's the key point. So when they are ready to buy, a week from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, you need to make sure they remember you. And again, that's where email comes in. Even if they don't read them all, they get that to their inbox, they'll delete it, but you reminded them and they remember you. And when time does come to buy, they're going to remember those emails. They might remember that one article they read. So we also built a website that made it simple for customers. That was another thing. Farms sometimes make it really complicated for people to buy from, and that's if people know the farm exists. Something we really focused on was Amazon. We wanted our farm to be like Amazon, and we're not there yet, not by any means, but you got to make it simple for your customers. And that's not just working the website, it's the whole process of from when they click on your product to they are getting your product. All the steps in there. Think of yourself as a customer. How can you make that easier? Because that is what's going to lead you to a ton more sales. I guarantee it. Essentially, when we got a bunch of basics in place, things became much more doable. It's not to say that there weren't still some growing pains. We still encounter some growing pains now. But again, in dealing with all of these challenges, we have learned to deal with those challenges as well in a way that's not stressing us out, driving us crazy, and making us question everything that we're doing. Not to say you won't have a couple of those days, I think if you saw my last video. But point is, with growth comes challenges, but if you can learn to make that growth, I don't want to say easier, but smoother, to expect it and to know how to deal with it when the challenges arise, and any business, not just farming, that's going to happen, then you are then working towards not only a business that you want that works for you, but you're working towards that lifestyle that you want. That to me is almost more important, if not more important, than just the actual income or growth of a farm. Closing thoughts, if you're raising food and you're selling it, you're not just a hobby farmer, you're running a business. And the sooner you can start treating it like one, the sooner it can actually start to support you, your family, and your goals. Not because you're trying to build an empire or you're trying to build something huge, but because your time, your energy, and the work that you're doing matter. And if you can leverage those in a way that works not only to grow your farm, but with your lifestyle, then that's what the part-time farmer is all about. So thanks for watching. I have another video coming up in a week, be part 2 of this series. And in that one, we're going to focus a little more on not doing farmers markets and how email and online can help you achieve the growth and the lifestyle that we've talked about here. Check out a couple of these videos here that we made about growing our farm, and we'll catch you in the next one.